All right, here are the progressive news headlines for today, Wednesday, October the 21st. We're getting there. Mitch McConnell. You know him, the turtle. McConnell, there he is, in case you forget what he looks like. McConnell has been doing everything in his power to make sure Americans get absolutely no COVID relief because it would be politically inconvenient for him. He told his Republican colleagues yesterday that he has privately been urging the Trump White House not to strike a coronavirus relief deal with Speaker Nancy Pelosi from the House. Definitely doesn't want to do that before the November 3rd election, warning that an agreement could interfere with his chamber's plan to confirm Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court earlier next week. Can someone please draw the parallels here? Why would that interfere? What is he thinking here? Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told Democratic lawmakers late last night, look at her sitting in the room with Trump. It's disturbing. He has COVID. Pelosi told the Democratic lawmakers late last night that she and the White House have been making some progress and continue to voice optimism that they'll reach an agreement on COVID relief before the election, which again is basically 2 weeks away. So I don't know if one more COVID check for people is actually going to help them. I think we need regular universal basic income until this pandemic can be adjudicated and fixed and dealt with. The numbers are going up. Governor Cuomo wants to shut the borders to Connecticut and New Jersey, but he knows he can't because a lot of the people who work in New York City live in Connecticut and New Jersey, and there's a lot of porousness to the borders there that would make it unrealistic to actually have people have to quarantine 14 days every time they traveled across state lines. But if economics weren't a player here, he would likely have done such a thing. So anyway, we're moving along. I don't think one check is going to do it. The Supreme Court nominee that Mitch McConnell wants to sacrifice us all on the altar for, by the way, is not only a raging anti-choice zealot, she's also not convinced climate change is real. Where do they find these people? I'm guessing in the Catholic Church. They're watching Fox News. In answers to follow-up questions from the Senate Judiciary Committee, Amy Coney Barrett once again falsely characterized the science behind human-caused climate change as controversial, which it is not, and declined to acknowledge the established link between carbon emissions and global warming. Barrett was also pressed on her own personal ties to Shell Oil, where her father worked as an attorney for decades. Any conflict of interest there? When asked whether she would be required to recuse herself from cases involving any other oil companies, Barrett dodged the question. Here I have a video of our future first female president, Kamala Harris, questioning Amy Coney Barrett about climate science. Let's take a listen.
And do you accept that COVID-19 is infectious?
I think, yes, I do accept that COVID-19 is infectious. That's something of which I feel like, we could say you take judicial notice of. It's an obvious fact, yes.
Do you accept that smoking causes cancer?
I'm not sure exactly where you're going with this, but, the notice that smoking causes...
The question is what it is. You can answer it if you believe.
I love watching where this is going. Amy's like, I'm not sure where you're going with this. But I see where Kamala's going with this, and I love it. Here it is.
Senator Harris, yes, every package of cigarettes warns that smoking causes cancer.
And do you believe that climate change is happening and it's threatening the air we breathe and the water we drink?
Senator, again, I was wondering where you were going with that. You have asked me a series of questions that are completely uncontroversial, like whether COVID-19 is infectious, whether smoking causes cancer, and then trying to analogize that to eliciting an opinion on me that is a very contentious matter, opinion from me that is on a very contentious matter of public debate. And I will not do that. I will not express a view on a matter of public policy, especially one that is politically controversial because that's inconsistent with the judicial role, as I have explained.
Thank you, Judge Barrett, and you've made your point clear that you believe it's a debatable point.
Bam! That was awesome. Go, Kamala. Mamala. I don't know. I love her. What can I tell you? Moving right along. Leaders of climate and conservation groups are welcoming House Democrats' introduction of landmark legislation that aims to address the ocean impacts of global heating and reform federal ocean management. Why do we have to manage every fucking thing? Excuse my French. Try not to swear, but it's very difficult. We must manage every natural thing instead of just learning to live at one with it. I'm put off. Anyway, Arizona Democrat Raul Gruya, I'm sure I didn't get that right, who chairs the House Natural Resources Committee, unveiled the Ocean-Based Climate Solutions Act during a virtual press conference yesterday. Specifically, the bill aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, increase carbon storage in blue carbon ecosystems, promote coastal resiliency and adaptation, and improve ocean protection, support climate-ready fisheries, tackle ocean health challenges, and restore U.S. leadership in international ocean governance, which I would agree to if Trump is not Trump and his cronies, meaning the entire capitalist establishment, are not at the helm. You can put some capitalisms in charge of international ocean governance. I don't think that's a great idea. We need people with different values if there's going to be international ocean governance. Anyway, all of those things sound wonderful. Improve ocean protection, support climate-ready fisheries. Excellent. You can check it out. Ocean Climate Action. That's the hashtag if you want to learn some more. And with 2 weeks remaining, just 2, until Election Day, a broad coalition of advocacy and business groups are urging state election officials to publicly commit to a list of actions to protect electoral integrity and uphold the democratic process. In an open letter sent to secretaries of state and state election directors across the country, 16 groups, including 350.org, Protect Our Election, and Showing Up for Racial Justice, warn, quote, that our democracy is under unprecedented stress. The letter calls on election officials to unite in support of a set of fundamental commitments, including forcefully refuting disinformation, providing regular pre-election public updates on a number of ballots already received and the percentage of mail-in ballots still outstanding, and pursuing every available option to provide for a safe and secure early and absentee voting experience. You can help protect the election results at protectourelection.com. Again, protectourelection.com. Also, check this out. Is this a huge step forward in in police, helping to mitigate against police brutality and police violence? 4 Democratic lawmakers introduced a bill yesterday proposed by our girl Katie Porter, aimed at reducing violence against people with mental illnesses by supporting the creation of special units that would be dispatched instead of police to respond to mental health crises. According to the Treatment Advocacy Center, at least a quarter and perhaps as many as half of all fatal police encounters involve people who suffer from mental illness. They are 16 times more likely to be killed by law enforcement officers than other people. The bill would create a grant program to fund the hiring, training, salaries, and benefits of mental health first responders units that would be deployed following relevant 911 calls. The measure is co-sponsored by 25 Democratic lawmakers. Call your representative right now and tell them you support the Mental Health Justice Act. I support the Mental Health Justice Act as a mental health worker myself. That is right. I have many hats that I wear. A professional mental health worker myself. I would not want to be called to deal with a robbery situation because I am not trained in police work. Just like police are not trained in mental health work. So I think this is a great way to, protect police officers who, I'm sure a fraction of which aren't just racial, horrible, people out to kill blacks and people of color. Sometimes, who knows what's going on? So they would protect the people and protect the police from all of this stuff, protect the taxpayers, protect the mothers who are losing children. I think it's a great idea. So call your representative and tell them you support the Mental Health Justice Act. I'm Julianna Forlano. Thanks for joining us today. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to please subscribe and give us a thumbs up here and share us with your friends. We do this Progressive News Headlines report every Monday through Thursday, and I tend to focus on what progressive actions are happening. And I give you something to do, like call your representative and tell them you support the Mental Health Justice Act. We don't just, pick up what the mainstream networks are putting down and we're not just a cacophony of what's happening there. We are actually reporting on the work that progressive organizations are doing. So help us get the word out on that. Also, for me as a mental health person, it very much helps me to know that this kind of information helps people to feel empowered, to feel less depressed about what's happening, because mainstream media, basically, if it bleeds, it leads. They're only reporting about Trump's tweets and how everything's going to hell in a handbasket, when there are real things going on that are actually going well. Thanks for watching.